All right. Yo. Hey, Zay. How's it going? Okay.
In fact, Jeffrey, if
Michael,
you don't know him, he has
how's
been
it going?
the pioneer of
Ladies
the
and gentlemen,
non-GMO
we're doing it again.
When you see non-GMO on a lot of the foods out there today, Jeffrey really is a big part of...
Uh-oh. There we go. Sorry. Oh my gosh. No spoilers. No spoilers, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going? All right. We have a lot to get to today. It's going to be a good show. Let's make sure. Oh my gosh. Boom. There we are. There we are. Feeling good. Hope you had a good Father's Day. If you celebrate, thank you. Thank you for the wishes. I appreciate you for being here. I had to take a shower. I smelled like a barbecue, so I love barbecue. I don't like smelling like barbecue all night, though. You know what I mean? Just like that smoke smell. It's like kind of like after yeah, just a little too much sometimes, you know? Thank you, Michael. It's very nice of you to say thank you. I appreciate that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have some fun things to get to.
Hi, this is Dr. Paul.
We are going to be going over GMOs, ladies and gentlemen. Genetically modified organisms, or as they're called now, actually, they kind of like did a rebrand, bioengineered products. So that is definitely who this is. That's what we're going to cover tonight. Who is this? Oh, this guy is a pediatrician that lost his license, it seems like. Dr. Paul Thomas, MD, retired December 2022. That's a bad sign, ladies and gentlemen. That's usually one of a couple of things. It usually means you got it taken from you. Usually if it's getting around COVID time, if you're suddenly retiring for whatever reason, it's usually a bad sign. We'll have to see it. Out-of-state MD indefinitely suspended. March 2023, Dr. Paul Thomas entered into an agreed order that indefinitely suspends his Washington state medical license. The WMC suspension was based on the Oregon Medical Board's actions on Dr. Thomas' license in that jurisdiction. Dr. Thomas surrendered his Oregon medical license due to unprofessional conduct, making false or misleading statements regarding the efficacy of treatments, and repeated gross negligence in the practice of medicine. That is... Oh, thank you, Leaky. Thank you. We got to remember with these MDs, these physicians, like MD is a professional degree, right? And we have the ability as a society to give and take these licenses away. So when we have people that are falsely making statements that are harming people, we absolutely have and should take the ability for these people to conduct medical procedures, right? That license is what gives them power in their profession in order to have the power in order to practice medicine, right? And we give it as a society, and we can take it back. These people that are using that thing that we have given them or bestowed upon them and taking advantage of that trust to push dangerous policies should absolutely be stricken down from their license, and their licenses should absolutely be removed. So I'm happy that his license did get removed. Right? We cannot, we shouldn't, and we can't allow people to be harmed in that way. So let's see who this guy is. Let's go back here. Here he is. Let's see what he says. GMOs profit from poisons, the dangers of genetically modified food.
Hi, this is Dr. Paul on another episode of Ask Your Pediatrician. Today we're talking about genetically modified food.
To my knowledge, no medical degree requires molecular biology courses, but let's hear it.
You've probably heard the term GMO. It stands for genetically modified organisms.
Okay.
And I've known that, for example, Monsanto, one of our big chemical companies, has been for a couple decades at least now, maybe 3 or 4 decades, working on modifying seeds. And my thought was they were wanting to sell more Roundup. And so they modified these seeds so they were tolerating the Roundup. Everything else in the field would die and their crops would grow beautiful. And I thought,
I mean, herbicides existed before Roundup, guys. You know, I mean, when was the first use of I'm pretty sure glyphosate was actually used. Yes, glyphosate was first synthesized in 1950, and it was used as its and it was used by Monsanto in 1970. But the first, what date was the first glyphosate-ready plant? I mean, corn. Yeah, 1998. The first Roundup-ready corn was 1998. So they were using Roundup. They were using glyphosate, which is an herbicide, for 40 years before they had Roundup ready corn. So the idea that they somehow are the chain of events in his story doesn't make any sense, right? They're not trying to sell more. They have something that already existed and they were selling it before.
Seeds, and my thought was that it stands for genetically modified organisms. And I've known that, for example, Monsanto, one of our big chemical companies, has been for a couple decades at least now, maybe 3 or 4 decades, working on modifying seeds. And my thought was they were wanting to sell more Roundup. And so they modified these seeds so they were tolerating the Roundup. Everything else in the field would die and their crops would grow beautiful. And I thought, well, this is not a good idea that we're putting Roundup, a herbicide, pesticide, on our crops. Somehow,
I mean, guys, you have to have something that's going to kill the pests. Like, you have to. Like, you can't have, like, imagine you're as a farmer, you have your piggy bank or your revenue just there that anyone can take, right? So you have to, as a farmer, protect your profits, protect your revenue stream, and by doing that, kill the pests, right? The pests can be insects, they can be plants, And plants are actually more dangerous than pests than insects specifically, because like a different type of weed will actually take a lot of the same micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, nutrients as the plant that you want to grow. So, an insect, unless it's like a huge swarm, it's actually pretty, the plants are worse than that. Soybeans don't grow here without modification. It's like 99% GMO. Interesting, Michael. Duxy, thanks for hanging out in YouTube chat. Global market, political problem, sounds less odd. Michael, and corn is like 66% GMO on the market, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Michael, the corn grown in the United States is predominantly, vast majority is genetically modified, but then the global market is, isn't the entire thing. Duxy, I don't know why you'd insert Monsanto into cultural and historical dialogue, because he's trying to fearmonger. He's trying to fearmonger. Leaky, yeah, I'm studying biotechnology and this is amazing. All right, very cool. Okay, let's see what this pediatrician has to say about this, though.
Pesticide on our crops, somehow this can't be a good idea. What I've come to learn is that, folks, this is a lot more dangerous than just having crops that can tolerate Roundup, which in and of itself.
Just how did he learn that? What studies is he showing? What is he showing? Hey, Helen, what is he showing that's actually substantiating these claims, right?
Any herbicide in our diet, in our food chain, is not a good idea.
Oh, any? Oh, okay. So, like, what are farmers supposed to do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just impractical. It doesn't make any sense. Any? You can't have any. 0%. I mean, you are not an insect and you are not a plant. So if they are binding to plant and insect proteins, that's not going to impact you very efficiently, right? You have to have a lot of it in order to actually have downstream impacts.
What's happened is they've modified the biggies in the United States. Let's just start with that, for example. Here in 2013, 85% of corn, 91% of soy, and 88% of cotton are genetically modified. That's basically, if you're not eating organic, your corn and your soy is genetically modified in this country.
Yeah. And that guys, that's okay. Again, organic is a marketing term, right? Organic is a marketing term. Organic farming requires pesticides, herbicides. You have to have it. And on average, actually, you're actually using more pesticides and herbicides with organic farming than you are genetically modified foods. You just are, because you're less efficient, right? You have to broadly spray, and it's not specifically targeting that thing. Like, for example, you can actually create a pesticide inside a plant so that an insect chews on that leaf, the insect is hurt. If you don't do it that way, you're going to have to do what? Spray it on the plant. That's going to be less impactful. You're going to have to spray more because you're having to spray on areas where insects aren't. And then that's going to create runoff. Runoff creates problems in our environment. It's actually the runoff that is the biggest part for broad farming and stuff like that. It's actually, we want to minimize farming the most that we can.
You understand, all GMO has been banned in Europe, and that's been for, I think, since 2003. They figured out that this was a huge disaster for health. But
no, they didn't. They did ban it, but it wasn't like a thing where they found this big study. It's just fear-mongering got to them, and sadly that we are where they are because of that. It's extremely stringent. It's extremely restrictive, and no studies have ever shown that genetically modified foods specifically are bad for your health.
In this country, we continue to have genetically modified foods pervasive throughout our food chain, because corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, soy products, soy proteins. If you're buying anything in a bag, a box, a can, you probably are eating genetically modified food. Now, over the decades that they've been testing fields of these genetically modified crops, it's interesting to note that, for example, in the soy fields, if there's a field of genetically modified soy and a field with regular soy, geese who fly through these fields through the Midwest will not touch the genetically modified soy. Farmers have found the same thing holds true for cattle, hogs.
I mean, they're probably eating things, right? They're probably attracted to things that are not just the plant itself. Are geese eating just? Do geese eat only plants? No, geese don't only eat. They're herbivores. They are predominantly herbivores. And they're technically omnivores. In the wild, they occasionally consume small animals like insects, crustaceans, mollusks, small fish. So they're going to be more likely to go to something where they can get a snack with an insect and a plant rather than just plants. So I mean that makes sense. They're looking for like more of a diversity in what they're looking for.
Elk, squirrels, mice, even raccoons, if given the choice, they will not touch the genetically modified food. They will go right over to the field or the feeding bin that has the regular seed, regular corn, regular soy, whatever it may be. In fact, when they came out with genetically modified tomatoes, which is one of the first genetically modified foods, the rats who ate it, well, first of all, they wouldn't eat it unless it was the only thing, and even then they had to tube feed these rats, and 7 out of 40 of them died. Nevertheless, it was
7 out of the 40 of them died? I have a really hard time believing that. I asked one friend several questions. A lot of my friends have preconceptions about GMOs. The friend that said it didn't matter had a degree in horticulture. Yeah, Michael. I mean, I really do feel like the loss and slide into disinformation that we've had over the last like generation kind of like started with this anti-genetically modified organism fear. And what we have now is a lot of fear-mongering, specifically in regards to biotechnology in general. So it's not just GMO foods, it's vaccines, it's fluoride in the water. Like these are all like long-term studies that have shown the efficacy of this, but we kind of let genetically modified foods be this guinea pig, and we never really defended it, and people stoked that division and that insecurity about what they don't understand. And then when a new vaccine comes out, they cling to that same insecurity, right? They don't understand how genetically modifying something works. They also don't understand how vaccines work. Very, very similar. Hey, Stacy.
Initially approved for human consumption. This is the challenge we're having. BT corn, same problem. Chicken who ate BT corn were dying twice as fast as those who ate regular corn. So how do they modify?
What are these? Imagine, what are these studies? Like, how is he saying this stuff? He's just saying numbers. Yeah, it's a pre-internet fear too. Yeah. I mean, genetically modifying organisms started in the 90s, and and here we are. Molecular biology really sprung up as a field during that time, and we see it now.
These genes anyway. What's this got to do with a problem in our health?
But that's me.
They actually blast genetic material from a different species into the genes of the corn or soy or whatever they're working on.
That's me. I do that.
What really distressed me the most was to learn that actually, I've known this, at the cellular organism position, take bacteria in our gut. We have billions, if not trillions, of bacteria in our intestinal tract. These single-celled organisms can transfer genetic material. This is something that happens all the time.
Horizontal
so
gene
they
transfer.
found that some of the bacteria that can be in your gut, because you eat this food that has these genetically modified genes, for example, to, in some cases, manufacture your own pesticide. The bacteria in your
Okay. Oh my gosh, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Blast it in. Okay, so what he's saying is, but just to be clear, so I know blast is an interesting point. I mean, we do use particle bombardment. So that is the particle bombardment chamber that we use in order to do something like this. Does use basically really high pressure. And what'll happen is, let's see, let me show it. So you have particle bombardment chambers, which is right here. The gas is going through here, and these discs, these discs right here will actually have these macro carriers and these micro projectiles, basically pushing this stuff through. DNA is bound to these little pieces of gold, and then they go through here at really at high speeds into the plant tissues, and then that's how they actually carry the DNA into this thing. But the idea of it's so wild. Like I don't even know where to start. Okay, your body is breaking down DNA in the stomach. Okay, so your body, the DNA that you eat in a cell in a plant is being broken down inside your gut. It's not like the fibrous material that is making it into your large and small intestine. Or hey Ness, how's it going? Hey Robin. It's filamentous. It's the hard to break down parts of plant fiber. It's not like cellular material still. And the DNA of a plant isn't horizontal gene transferring into a bacteria and then running the pesticide inside of your body, because it's inside of a plant. So it's going to have basically plant promoters and terminator regions. It's going to be made and specifically optimized for plants. Okay. So that's called a promoter and a terminator region, and you can even call it codon optimization, okay, for plants specifically. So the idea that you just like get any type of material near your gut and it's just going to create all these proteins with unknown causes and poison you is just wild. I've never heard this before. He's just literally talking out of his ass. He has no idea what's happening. There's just so much wrong with that. It doesn't make any sense. The DNA is plant DNA. It's not bacteria DNA. And the pesticide, even if it was being created, it's going to be targeting a insect or an herbivore, or it's not going to be targeting human cells, even if it did, and it doesn't. So it just doesn't make any sense. Like it makes zero sense, guys. It is I've like genuinely, that is one of the wildest claims I have ever heard. I am actually kind of shocked.
Gut can now get that ability to manufacture pesticides.
It can't.
That's just
it can't.
Horrifying to think.
It's not. It doesn't. It can't.
That you can actually make pesticides in your gut. We wonder why we're having problems that relate to brain and psychiatric issues and focus issues and learning and developmental, on and on and on. The immune system, huge effects from having genetically modified food in your diet.
Yeah, it's just not true. I don't know. That is wild. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
So I'd like to recommend a book for you to take a look at, just to get in-depth information about.
I wonder, guys. I wonder if a a book named Seeds of Deception. I wonder if Seeds of Deception is going to be an unbiased book. I mean, again, if this was happening, and it's not, but if it was, like, just post the study. Just do the study. That's what it's so frustrating to me. Like, just do the study. Like, I'm not, like, if it was causing this much harm, then that's not good. But it doesn't.
GMO foods. Jeffrey Smith has written the book Seeds of Deception, and he's done a masterful job of documenting the history in the development of genetically modified organisms.
Guys, I mean, we've been targeted breeding for 10,000 years. The idea that he's actually using a genetically modified corn here, and he's thinking, oh, this is a Monsanto dunk, right? He's like, oh, this is a Monsanto product here, and I'm like slam dunking. Like, look what wild type corn looked like before breeding. Like, look at what it actually looks like before. You know, I mean, we know, guys, like, this is what the wild plant of corn looks like right here. This is the modern corn cob, okay? It was genetically modified at the modern corn cob spot, okay? But the wild plant is what it actually looks like. So the idea that, like, I mean, 10,000 years of genetic breeding got it from here to here, and then how it got specific resistance to glyphosate was through molecular biology, yeah, for sure. But that was at the very end. That was at the very end of the whole thing.
Modified foods. And after you read this book, without a doubt, you will realize this is something we must avoid at all costs, and we need to get rid of in our country, once and for all, in fact, in our world. Thank you for watching. I'm Dr. Paul.
Wow. Oh my gosh. This guy is a treasure trove. Oh no. Oh no. Avoid this book. Well, here we go. The hard truth. Hopefully he's... Oh my gosh. Wow. His son has stage 4 cancer, and he probably... Wow, what is he doing? Oh man. I can't imagine abandoning care for my kids just so I could push an ideology. Oh, that is awful. What is he doing? This is like some wild stuff. Okay. Anyway, wow. Jeez. Okay, R. Yeah, I can't look at it when I'm going here, but okay. Okay, so someone pointed this in chat. There's a study talking about BT, study of BT, the Cry1 LA protein oligomerization promoted by midgut brush border membrane vesicles of lepidotropin and colipotropin. So first off, 17 cited by 17 over 20 years doesn't really make sense. I mean, it's something that's like this big is going to have more studies than that. So that's like the first red flag. Study of the okay, abstract. Bt produces insecticidal proteins that are either secreted during the vegetative growth stage or accumulated in the crystalline inclusions, the cryoproteins, in the stationary phase. Cry1L proteins share the 3-domain structure typical of crystal proteins but are secreted to the media early in the stationary growth phase. In the generally accepted mode of action of 3D cryoproteins sequential binding model, the formation of an oligomer has been described as a major step necessary of pore formation and subsequent toxicity. To know this could be extended to Cry1L proteins. The formation of Cry1LA oligomers was studied by Western Blot after the incubation of trypsin-activated Cry1L with insect brush border membrane vesicles or insect cultured cells using Cry1AB as a control. Our results show that Cry1A oligomers were observed only after incubation with the susceptible coleotropin BBMV, but not following incubation with susceptible lepidotropin BBMV or non-susceptible SF21 insect cells, while Cry1AB oligomers were persistently detected after incubation with all insect tissues tested, regardless of its host susceptibility. The data suggested oligomerization may not be necessary, but a requirement for the toxicity of Cry1L proteins. Okay, so I don't. What's this supposed to be saying? I don't understand what's the fear of this. I don't get it. What's the claim? I mean, they're just making oligomers. In our study, our findings indicated that the oligomers of a classical 3D crystal-forming cryoprotein of Bt, such as Cry1AB, were promoted and could be detected after incubation of activated Cry1AB with the susceptible or non-susceptible insect midgut BBMV with non-susceptible SF21 cells. I mean, this is literally it. I mean, this is the paper. We're not insects. So midgut insect cells. I mean, that what do I can't check my messages while I'm live. You know, I can't actually go back. I mean, I'm telling you, like, is the idea that we are insect cells? Here, our results show that trypsin processed Cry1AB and Cry1LA as an in vitro model of what might occur in vivo suggests that the promotion of oligomers can occur by incubation of the cryotoxin with susceptible insect BBMV and also with non-susceptible insect tissues. I mean, I'm sure they're going to try to say that it's like a slam dunk for making this stuff. Bt is a gram-positive soil-dwelling bacterium and is the most commonly used biological pesticide worldwide. Bt also occurs naturally in the gut of caterpillars, as of various types of moths and butterflies, as well as other leaf surfaces, aquatic environments, animal feces, insect-rich environments, flour mills, and grain storage facilities. It has also been observed in parasitic moths. During sporulation, many Bt strains produce crystal proteins. called delta endotoxins that have an insecticidal action. This has led to their use as insecticides, but more importantly, recently to genetically modified crops using Bt genes such as Bt corn. Many crystal-producing Bt strains, though, do not have insecticidal properties. So BTI was discovered in 1976. While investigating mosquito breeding sites in the region, they isolated a bacteria strain from a stagnant pond that had exhibited potential larvicidal activity. Oh, that's cool. Against various mosquito species. That's cool. This subspecies is now commonly used for the biological control of mosquitoes and fungus gnats. That's cool. As a toxic mechanism, cryproteins bind to specific receptors on the membranes of the midgut cells of the target pests, which explains what you're, which is it. I don't see. It just says the one I sent explains it, and then you said that does that help. So we're just gonna have to do this later, because what it looks completely fine. Other organisms, including humans, other animals, and non-target insects that lack the appropriate receptors in their gut, cannot be affected by the cryprotein, and therefore are not affected by Bt. I mean, this is the whole point. So they basically found that paper found that there was binding, and they are using Western blots to show that these things are. This looks like a really so basically these are different types of protein binding, right? And they're showing that together it's showing some oligomerization where their protein interactions happening, which is expected because, as it says right here, as a toxic mechanism, cryproteins bind to specific receptors on the membranes of midgut cells of targeted pests. Right? So here they were talking about this binding to insect cells. Finally, the oligomerization assays the insect cell line, the insect rearing, insect cell line. So they're showing that. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. Other organisms, including humans, other animals, and non-targeted insects that lack the appropriate receptors in their gut cannot be affected by the cryprotein and therefore are not affected by Bt. So, I mean, that's what it is. There it is. That's it. It really is that simple. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't understand things and try to fear-monger and stuff, but I mean, at the end of the day, this is just true. Other organisms that lack the appropriate receptors in their gut, like humans, cannot be affected by the cryprotein and therefore are not affected by Bt. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Okay. Man. All right. Oh man, this is a 30-minute video. The same thing. That's a 102 video. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's go over. Okay. Okay. Okay.
In 1968.
Okay. So, one of the things I'm curious about, and I want to do, especially since we have all this talk, one of the things that I want to do, since we have all this talk about DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, coming out talking about these secret labs and all that kind of stuff that's happening, I wanted to talk about inside the U.S. government's top secret bioweapons lab. I wanted to actually talk about and discuss like what actually goes into these really elaborate labs. You know, how are we capable in a lab setting to handle and manage dangerous pathogens so that we can monitor them so that they don't get more dangerous, and how can we safely actually work with them? Because we see all this nonsense about lab leak, and we know that that's false because of genetic evidence and molecular biology evidence that exists, that basically all the building blocks that were needed for this thing are outside, and it was naturally occurring. But we do work with viruses inside of labs routinely, constantly. So I wanted to talk about this video inside the U.S. government's top secret bioweapons lab.
In 1968, about 6,000 sheep died near this government facility. They were poisoned by a chemical weapon named VX. The U.S. hasn't been known to actively use VX in combat. In fact, it's begun destroying its stockpile of chemical munitions as part of a UN treaty. But it's just one of many strange and secretive experiments that happened within these walls. Experiments on sheep, mosquitoes, and even civilians. About 85 miles southwest of Salt Lake City is the U.S. government's top secret bioweapons lab. It's called the Dugway Proving Ground. The 77-year-old facility covers about 800,000 acres. That's just a little larger than the entire state of Rhode Island. And it tests some of the deadliest chemical, biological, radiological, and explosive hazards on Earth. Less famous than Area 51, Dugway dates all the way back to 1942, right in the middle of World War II.
Oh man, so there was a ton of stuff that during that time, right? I mean, tons of like mustard gas and all that kind of stuff that was being developed at that time. There's really like, it's interesting.
The government needed a large area to test powerful weapons, eventually settling on this stretch of land in the Utah desert. Back then, the site was used to test everything from chemical sprays and flamethrowers to various antidotes and protective equipment.
Wow.
And even firebombing.
Wow.
After World War II, Dugway mostly shut down until the Korean War began in 1950.
That makes sense. All time, all over the world, all the time, virologists work with dangerous organisms. Exactly, Richard. Yeah, man.
That's when the Proving Ground turned into what it is today, a permanent military base. In Dugway's first few decades, the base worked mostly on offensive weaponry, biological and chemical munitions designed to directly attack enemies.
Sampling devices positioned throughout the test area yield valuable information to chemical core researchers.
The 1950s, for example, saw the launch of Operation Big Itch, an experiment that was testing weaponized fleas.
Wow.
The fleas
series of trials conducted using fleas in E14 munitions with cardboard and sponge inserts. The insects were dropped from altitudes of 305 and 610 meters of the U.S. Armored Dugway. Wow. They were successfully reared to the appropriate stage, and then on the target was little to no die-off. That's funny. After release, the insects were successfully in acquiring the host, but were not active longer than 24 hours. Interesting. So the mutations, they weren't healthy? I don't understand why weren't they healthy after 24 hours. The sponge carriers were the most likely distributed.
Weren't infected with any type of disease or agent, but experimenters were working with thousands of them, and the fleas were dropped in cluster bombs to gauge if they would survive the fall from an airplane.
And they did.
And this was only part one. Dugway launched a second experiment called Project Bellwether in the 1960s. Only this time, mosquitoes were injected with inert diseases, inert bacteria, and inert viruses. But get this, those mosquitoes were released upon several groups of human volunteers.
Wow.
Who were bitten again and again during the trials. And there are records dating back to the late 1950s, which describe experiments that used infected mosquitoes. And those are just two experiments known to the public. Exactly what goes on at Dugway is, well, pretty unclear. And that's not by accident. The area is intensely guarded. Everything that comes in and out is carefully monitored. Guards are on constant patrol and actively armed, and the perimeter is lined with tall barbed wire fencing. There are even signs that authorize deadly force when necessary.
Yeah, I mean, all of these are like the top, top secret bases are all going to be like this. It's a Utah desert. Hey, Linda.
Since the 1940s, officials say operations have shifted from offensive to defensive tactics. Case in point, most of the current known work prepares agents to defend against potential biological and chemical attacks. For example, a multitude of training programs are held on site for the armed forces. Here's one in which Army Reserve soldiers are tasked with checking the radiation levels of artillery rounds. And here's another where soldiers were tasked with identifying substances in a simulated chemical lab.
By what? Looking at them? Like, how could you possibly know? You'd have to do some type of assay. Like, you wouldn't just be able to look at them.
Dugway's main operations include the Brock training facility, constructed from various shipping containers. It simulates underground environments for military training. There are also various buildings and rooms that serve specific purposes, like the decontamination testing chamber, the wind tunnel testing room, and the material test facility. But perhaps the most interesting room of all is this.
Oh.
The Smartman
What in the world?
Laboratory facility, which houses the Smartman dummy, a model that's used to simulate human contact with chemical agents, including the infamous VX nerve agent. Specifically, the Smartman helps the lab develop more effective individual protection respiratory equipment, essentially gas masks and the like.
Gnarly. I mean, wow. Okay.
A variety of chemists, chemical analysts, and technicians work on site. And the use of airtight chambers and gas masks is not only common, but mandatory.
Of course. I love that. PPE is mandatory. PPE is mandatory in a lot of different other places too.
Despite all of this dangerous experimentation, the work done at Dugway hasn't always been properly contained. Remember that sheep incident? That marked the start of a worrisome track record. It happened when overhead planes spewed out the nerve agent into the wind, accidentally sending it into nearby farmland in Skull Valley. Within the next couple of days, farmers found thousands of sheep dead in their fields. The Army compensated the farmers and lent them bulldozers to bury the sheep. But the accident sparked a whole debate on the use of chemical weapons in warfare. Adding on to these questionable practices, a 1994 Senate hearing on veterans' health focused specifically on Dugway veterans and civilians. A report found that people at Dugway were exposed to biological and chemical simulants believed to be safe at the time,
Yeah.
but that the Army had later stopped using many of them because they realized they were not as safe as previously believed.
45 years. Dang, 45 years of open testing. That's tough. Yeah, I mean, that's rough.
One veteran, who was accidentally sprayed in the face with the chemical DMMP in 1984, found himself wheezing and coughing the next day, symptoms that ended up lasting several weeks.
Dude, fear.
Despite
Yeah,
this,
new fear.
he was given only cough medicine and antibiotics by the Dugway Army Hospital.
That's hilarious.
The Dugway Safety Office assured him that the chemical was safe, but by 1988, officials at Dugway had reevaluated the simulant's danger and were concerned it could cause cancer and kidney damage. In 2011, the facility slipped up again. It went on lockdown after workers lost a vial containing the VX nerve agent. Nobody was permitted to enter or exit the facility, not even the employees. And in 2016, the CDC and the Department of Defense launched a major investigation when a review team found that Dugway had been operating dangerously for several years without the government's knowledge.
Uh-oh.
USA
Wait. So this is...
investigation.
Here we go. We can read this. Executive summary, AR 15-6, investigation report, shipment of valuable bacillus. Oh, okay. So anthrax bacillus from Dugway. So they were This is December 2015. Yes, anthrax. The Army's AR-15-6 investigations into the shipment of viable, I think that's the big point here, viable, Bacillus anthracis from Dugway Proving Ground identified three main causes: scientific gaps in gamma irradiation sterilization, so they should have been sterilized, inadequate sterility testing, and a culture of complacency. These factors led to 575 shipments of live anthrax to nearly 200 labs worldwide. Wow. The preferred method for rendering anthrax harmless through gamma irradiation was not fully understood. Standard protocols did not reliably account for viable spore concentrations, allowing some samples to remain viable. Testing failures. Dugway failed to execute adequate sterility testing to detect live spores in activated batches before they were approved for distribution. And complacency. Investigators pointed to an institutionalized complacency across Dugway management and staff. The report specifically cited the command climate between 2009 to 2011 for deflecting blame and fostering an environment where safety checks were bypassed. Scope of exposure. Live spores were distributed to 50 states, 9 foreign countries, and U.S. territories. Wow. Despite the vast distribution, federal health officials confirmed there were no public health outbreaks, as exposures were localized to a handful of lab workers who safely received preventative treatments. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, like, you would have, safety procedures on the other side, thinking that, what if this was alive? I think that's how you would actually do it. What if they lost it? That's a really good question. DoD safety reforms. In response to the investigation, the Department of Defense implemented a temporary moratorium on selective agent shipments. The Pentagon instituted new biosafety and oversight protocols, including a standing biological safety review panel to validate biological handling procedures. In official documentation, you can read the fully scoped institutional accountability report. I mean, it's sad that it happened, but honestly, at the same time, it's kind of like one of those things where it was detected. Let's see, how long was it detected? How long was it going on? May 2015. May 2015 is when they first learned about it. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you can kind of see that there are preventative measures in place just in case things do go wrong. It's just that there was the redundancy failure too. And really it's the complacency, right? The complacency is just not okay. That's the culture of failure, right? So very unfortunate.
The review team found that Dugway had been operating dangerously for several years.
And this is surveillance. So this is key frames in a series of frames from surveillance recorded from May 2015. But wait, they just learned about this. May 22. It's not lining up. They've information that has been in progress since May 2022. May 22nd, 2015, when we first learned of the anthrax shipment incidences. So this is a BSL Safety 3 in frame. One of the workers attempts to place a tray of spread plates, petri dishes, into the BSL cabinet from a 37-degree incubator. One of the plates slips out of the tray and onto the floor. Oh my gosh. That's wild. I mean, there you go. It's on the ground. What do? You have to you would have to sterilize that spot. You'd have to throw away the petri dish. The worker then picks the plate off the floor, inspects it briefly, and places it into the biosafety cabinet so that she can continue working with it. Oh my gosh. That is so bad. Anything, guys, when you're working in a hood like this, everything that you touch is sprayed with ethanol and wiped down because inside the hood is completely sterile. So the idea that you just pick something off the ground and put it in is what? Even picking something up off of a safe, a clean bench next to the BSL cabinet. You wouldn't just take that and put that right in, because as you're taking it in, you're contaminating it by exposing it to the air, right? And anything that's underneath it, you're bringing that into the cabinet too. So this is just wild. The fact, just that right there is what? Even in my algae lab, if this was my undergrad, I would have a huge talking to them, because they probably just contaminated my algae strains, and now my experiment is done, and that's a month worth of work, and you just hosed it because you were just so lazy that you couldn't ethanol spray something. What? No way. A few seconds later, they touch her face under her powered air purifying respirator mask. After dropping the plate, blank should have immediately reported the spill. Yeah, you report the spill. That's, oh my gosh. I can't believe that she touched her face. And it's an actively growing culture because it's from a 37-degree. That is crazy. That is actually wild. I cannot believe that. Genuinely, that frustrates me. There's no way this is an undergrad. There's no way. They have to be someone that's, to work at something like this, you're usually getting some type of certification to be in a lab like this. So it's like the opposite. You need a lot more than just an undergrad education.
Without the government's knowledge.
Factual background pertaining to the 22nd discovery. The DoD maintains chemical and biological defense program with the mission to enable the warfighter to deter, prevent, protect, mitigate, respond, recover from the chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear threats and effects.
USA Today reported egregious failures by the facility's leadership and staff. The report singled out the head colonel in command at Dugway, Brigadier General William King. The report singled out the head colonel in
He deflected blame and minimized the severity of incidences. Lacks the introspection and fails to recognize the scope and severity of the incidents that occurred during his command. Dude, like, I would be sick to my stomach if I was in a lab like this and like that happened. Sick to my stomach.
Command at Dugway, Brigadier General William King. The Army's accountability investigation recognized King as unqualified.
Despite being a major testing facility for the Army's chemical and biological defense, Dugway had appointed an unqualified biosafety officer who lacked the education and training to do the job. Expertise matters, guys. Expertise matters. Keep saying this. The facility failed to have a program to routinely test surfaces in its labs to ensure contamination hadn't spread outside special biosafety cabinets. I mean, even for my nanotechnology lab that I was in for my PhD, they had environmental safety regulation where we had people come in and test the lab benches to make sure that, you know, nanoparticles and stuff weren't out, right? Because you got to make sure that people are using things with proper PPE, and if you have just nanoparticles just laying around, then that means that someone with their bare hands could touch them, they could breathe them in. That's not good. Did they have cameras? They had cameras inside of Dugway, but they didn't have it in my PhD lab. And some staff, quote, regularly manipulated data, end quote, in important records certifying the pathogens being shipped to other labs were killed and safe for other researchers to use without special protective equipment. Wow. Oh my gosh. This is the type of stuff that it's just like, you're not a scientist, bro. Like, just get out of science. Like, this isn't for you. Like, this is the type of stuff, like, you just aren't a scientist.
Lacking the education and training to effectively oversee biosafety procedures crucial to Dugway's operation.
Like, I mean, a scientist is always thinking about how can I do this and do this better. So the question is, like, when you're doing and you're creating that biosafety cabinet, you're creating that thing. That thing is an enclosed area that is safe. You know, that is free of contamination. How are you as a scientist going to build that space, right? What are you going to do? How are you going to put things? How are you going to, you know, sterilize things? Obviously, you have a procedure that you're following, but still you have some leeway of like how to make things better, how to do it more efficiently, all that kind of stuff. And you're constantly trying to push yourself to be better. Yeah, he's a scientist like RFK Jr. is a vaccine expert. Yeah, exactly. It's just some job that the guy got that he didn't really care about.
The report admonished him, saying he repeatedly deflected blame and minimized the severity of incidents. It even says King fails to recognize how serious the incidents truly were. And how serious were the incidents exactly?
Thank you, Ghostbusters.
Well, under King's command, the facility mistakenly shipped live anthrax to other labs. And not just once, but multiple times. For over a decade. That same report revealed that workers had been regularly and deliberately manipulating data in important records. Records meant to verify that pathogens being transported elsewhere were killed and safe for researchers to handle without protective gear.
I mean, that's so. That makes me so sad. Like, because it's just. But again, it was found because the other side is doing their own testing to see what they are. Like you get samples in, like, okay, so if you're getting samples in from a lab, from another lab, right, you have your own safety procedure to make sure. So we did this a lot. So a material transfer agreement, an MTA, right? We did this for nanoparticles, we did this for plants, like genetically engineered plants. Like you would create a transfer agreement. You got to bring it in. You got to also test it, though. You have to do your own tests, which you have the capability of doing because you're a lab that's in that space. So you have all the equipment to do your own independent tests on it. So it's an important thing to do. One, you have the expertise in it, but then two, there could have just been a mistake. Like, for example, like plasmids is a really good example of something that's changed around or transferred around, because plasmids are just a big bunch of DNA, and you got to make sure it's the right sequence. There wasn't an accidental mutation that was somewhere in there. But a lot of times it can be as simple as someone that just grabs the wrong tube. Like there's a big 100 tube box and someone's looking for A7 and they pick up A8 or something by accident. They loop in the wrong stuff into the culture. All of a sudden you have something that's a completely different genetic sequence than what you thought. So instead of waiting and wasting months and thousands of dollars on failed experiments that are going to fail because it's not the right experiment anyway, you just have some due diligence that you do at the beginning of every robust science experiment. And this is a good example of like the other lab is and these other labs are doing that due diligence on the other side and being like, red flag. This is a live culture. Like, this is not good. And I guarantee that's how they found this out. But the fact that it got shipped so worldwide and stuff is pretty astonishing. That's a lot.
Still, the facility's shady past, secretive operations, and intense surveillance have captured the attention and skepticism of some closer observers, including several conspiracy theorist groups. There are suggestions that the facility is the new Area 51, and the local community has raised their own questions about the facility's operations. Dugway was even featured in an episode of the History Channel's UFO Hunters.
You don't say!
In which local residents and UFO watchers were interviewed and footage from the area was examined. It's hard not to wonder when you live in close proximity to such a restricted landscape. Despite these theories, Dugway has expressed a desire to be more transparent, and representatives have said the facility wants to be more a part of the local community by better informing citizens about what exactly goes on there. So far, they've delivered some on that. The facility has its own events page,
Family's
which lists
Fun
several
Friday.
events open to the general public and the local Utah community.
Let's see. Dugway, Family Fun Friday. Dugway Days. They do have it. Oh, that's so funny. Dugway Family and MWR presents. Oh, how cute. They had a Trump birthday party, too. How cute. It's not Trump's birthday, guys. It's not Trump's birthday. Okay, it's not. It's not Trump's birthday. It's America's birthday, okay? Okay, it's not Trump's birthday. Like, bro, you guys are just... That's definitely Trump's birthday. They're all just so funny. They're really going for it, man. Fun for the whole family. Bring some cultures home with you. That's crazy. I mean, But it goes to show that even when things go dramatically wrong, how it is found. You know, it really you can't cover up something so systemic like that. It's impossible. Like you wouldn't be able to cover this up if Dugway was like trying to cover it up. They literally could not, because all the labs would be connected to it, would all know, and they would all whistleblow on Dugway. So like Dugway couldn't actually like stop it from happening. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just the way it is though. But that's why lab leak is fake, right? That's what it is. There is no lab leak because people do their due diligence in science labs, and we love doing it. And people like this and these fake job holders, they're not that are science based. They're never going to last, and they're going to be found out, right? That is what it is. Okay. Wild. Okay. Let's see. It's crazy that they're going after Fauci. Yeah, I know. I totally agree. All right. How about this one, guys? Here we go. Confessions. Here we go. All right, next one's up. Confessions of an ex-anti-vaxxer. This should be good.
In 2008, I was pregnant with my first daughter. I decided to settle down in a small Alberta community to have my baby, and I was pro-science. Experiences in healthcare kind of pushed me away and led to mistrust. Then, when I did vaccinate her like I had planned to, she had a reaction. And I mean, it was probably a pretty common reaction, but when I reached out for support, I did not feel supported through that. I went online and I told them about my daughter's reaction, and they informed me that my daughter was having a horrible vaccine reaction, and said that they don't want to admit that these reactions occur, and if I continued to vaccinate her, that it would just be worse and worse each time.
Great.
People assume that anti-vaxxers and vaccine-hesitant people are uneducated, believe in conspiracy theories, might be ultra-religious. That wasn't the case for me, and that wasn't a case for a lot of the people that I met along the way. I would say that the main reason for a lot of people not to vaccinate is poor science and health communication.
That's us, guys. That's me. That's me. That's me. I mean, I do think that okay, so I think that science communication plays a role for sure. But the idea of like all of science and the health fields have to reach out to you individually, like, I mean, that's just never going to happen. So it really is like you're never going to be an expert on everything. Like, you have to have some trust in the institutions, some kind of like take the night off, bro, you know, like kind of thing. So I just have a problem with that. And I think you're exactly right, Bill. Like, she's deflecting the blame. Exactly. F1, that's a great stat. I know it's wild. Cervical cancer deaths plummet to the record lows because of the HPV vaccine. Yep, it's absolutely amazing. Such a good thing. Ooh, Alberta is Maple MAGA. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's good to know. That is good to know. Thank you, Ghostbusters, for the gifts in YouTube. Appreciate that.
There's a lot of emotion involved and anxiety involved and not wanting to do the wrong thing for your child. So,
like, but why? And this is really pointed out by that New York Times article we were talking about. Like, it really, like, Maha and RFK have really unfairly put this burden of choice on moms, because moms are the ones that are going to be taking their kids to the physician's appointment, right? They're the ones that are going to be with the kid a majority of the time to make these decisions. And now these selfish grifters that are trying to exploit fear from these people have burdened mothers with this decision that's going to have irreparable changes if you don't do the right thing. When in reality, it's like a 99.99999 to 1 issue. Like there is no like choice to really be made. You know, viruses exist. Vaccines are the safest way to deal with them. Next decision. You wouldn't think about it in any other way. So it's just, I think that moms having yet another thing that they are burdened with, on top of being going through a pregnancy, on top of having those hormonal side effects after a baby, on top of loss of sleep, right? Loss of, think about that. You're not sleeping well. Whole host of changes in your body after pregnancy, and now you're burdened with like this life or death decision that you have to make for your kid already. And I feel like it's not fair. Hey Hazel, how's it going?
Having people be patient with me through that was actually what helped me start vaccinating my children again. While the pandemic certainly pushed a lot of people into anti-vax circles,
Cruisin' Life from YouTube chat. Thanks for hanging out. Is it okay to get all the child vaccines at once when available, or to spread it out? Cruisin' Life, you always want to go as directed, how they come out. Basically, they're tested. The vaccine schedule is tested, and it is as safe as it possibly can be, because you want your child as vaccinated as quickly as possible, so it's less exposed. And basically, that's how and why they're lined up. And these experimental routines or experimental, these experimental schedules are the ones that are the actual, like, who knows how safe they are. So I think that's not really fair.
Had the opposite effect on me. I noticed that a lot of the people I followed online and in real life became anti-mask and anti-hand sanitizer.
Because they don't believe in viruses. That's the thing, guys. I mean, they want to say it's about vaccines, but in reality, they deny the existence of viruses so that all they can focus on is the vaccine negative side effects. Because then that's all that exists. If viruses don't cause disease, people don't lose their life to viruses. How convenient. How convenient. And that's the problem.
And for me,
Mark Dawson, as a science guy, what is your view of the 8 inches per mile squared formula for the curve of the globe? Mark Dawson, the only thing that I know that's 8 inches and that goes a mile at a time is me going into your mom. So, but that you got the lengths just right, and the curve it hits just right. So that's yeah, she doesn't mind. So thank you for that question in chat. I really appreciate that.
That was strange, because when I was in these groups, we always kind of believed that hygiene and sanitation were the things that actually brought disease down. So I was actually able to reach out to experts who answered my questions with patience and kindness.
So this is also, guys, why I think, actually, I know this is an optimistic take. Might be some copium. I do think that AI will help us massively in these anti-vax circles, because you can literally have a conversation with AI to have ask these questions, and the AI will be so blunt and so clear, be like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, this is, this is so clear. There is no two sides of this. Like, there is only data on this side. Why do you care so much? I grew up anti-vaccine. Deb, I hope you're vaccinated now. Michael, when people ask me why I get the vaccine, I always say it's to develop antibodies, because that's what vaccines do. It's not 100% effective at stopping it, but it makes it less of a problem. Yeah, Michael. I mean, for some vaccines, because of the incubation period of the virus, they're more effective than others. And then on top of that, the efficacy of the vaccine itself is another role to play. So those are the two things that kind of stew together to create how sterilizing a vaccine is. Oh, thank you, Ness. I will. DM me, Ness. One more time.
And I was able to realize that.
Sorry, I had a Father's Day thing I went to.
All these myths under.
Oh, good. You are now. Good. I was in the Crunchy Mom groups for a while. Yeah, Neb. I think that's fair. I think, again, I think that people go into these groups with good intentions at the beginning, or they have skepticism that's healthy, but eventually it's harming people. The arrogant stupidity is wild. Yeah, exactly.
Scrutiny and weighted against the hierarchy of evidence actually don't hold water. Embracing evidence-based parenting and evidence-based healthcare.
Ooh, evidence-based. Wait, how did she say that? Evidence-based.
Actually don't hold water. Embracing evidence-based parenting.
Evidence-based parenting. That's a fascinating way to put that. I didn't see anyone. That's a really interesting way of putting that.
And evidence-based healthcare was a big transition for me as a person that, not only didn't vaccinate my kids, but also did things that weren't necessarily based in evidence for my children. It motivated me to become a nurse. I'm now a licensed practical nurse in Alberta. I want to be the nurse that I needed when people.
Serious questions. I think it's BS. How dare you, Mark? There is no question. It's 8 inches, like you said. We're completely right. You nailed it.
Misinformed, I do gently correct them. Understanding of having been there and how that all works. I started a support group called Back to the Vax.
Back to the Vax. Evidence-based parenting. Yeah, I think that's interesting. I can see that as an interesting like spanking or something like that. I could see evidence-based parenting as a way to just do what's best for your child based off of studies rather than fear and because parenting circles you can have a lot of fear-mongering. You can have a lot of nonsense, You've just lost my vote. All right. That's all right.
A couple hundred parents that are now vaccinating their children.
Sounds like pseudoscience language to me. I would say evidence-based parenting to me. I mean, what I this is my first time I'm hearing this. So what's non-evidence-based parenting? Just going by going by what you would think spanking or I don't know. I'm blanking, but there could be a lot of different ways that you're not doing things best for your child. Evidence-based things like going to therapy or something like that, where it's actually, it's a good for your kid long-term to, seek medical care, that kind of thing. But I'm just hearing about this for the first time. I think that it's an interesting way of phrasing actually using science in your life in parenting. Because there are studies, right? There are studies about parenting, and there's studies about, how you can be a better parent. So I think that it kind of like goes into one into the other.
I use a pseudonym. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are going to accuse me of being disingenuous because I do, but I've literally been threatened. I've had my physical safety threatened by the anti-vaccine movement. So on to measles. Anti-vaxxers like to congregate, and then when they do get measles, everyone gets it. Measles is highly infectious. So if you have a room of like 12 people, I believe, then 10 of them are going to get measles in that room. If you're watching this and you still haven't vaccinated your children for MMR,
this is 9 months ago. So they've obviously had a huge blow up of, they're on the side, on the downside of it. Evidence-based parenting is an approach that uses strategies proven effective by scientific research and empirical data rather than relying solely on tradition or anecdotal evidence. Yeah. This is during a large outbreak in Canada. Yeah, 9 months ago. Yes, evidence-based parenting makes sense. Yes, take your child to a doctor. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Muy importante. They only rely on anecdotal evidence. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people right now that just basically don't go to the doctors for any reason possible. Like they just don't do it with their kids, like zero. It's very odd. Very odd. Measles can be deadly. So many don't understand that. True. And you don't know. You don't know, too. It could be 20 years before brain inflammation gets to you, in measles, and you lose your life. So co-sleeping is a good one, Neb. That is a good one. Co-sleeping is one of those things where people lose their life. Kids do. And the evidence just does not support that it is safe. So there's just no reason to take that risk, right? There's just no reason. All right.
And all the pipes to.
All right, guys. Well, we are on this. Oops. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're on the search. We are on the search for our next president. It is not too early. We are thinking about 2028. Democrats are a bunch of Dems here. Filthy libs that like electoral politics, that vote. We canvass. We door knock. We register people to vote. We get involved. We get our hands dirty. We know that there's not going to be any perfect candidate, right? And we do what we can to make progress, even though we're not going to get there in one step, don't we? That's what we do. So, in that, guys, ladies and gentlemen, AOC. In steps AOC. And I think that she's like an interesting candidate. I don't think that she should be president. Again, I think that she should be the next Nancy Pelosi, and she should be the queen of the House of Representatives for the next 30 to 40 years. But people like her. She's popular. And I think that I'm interested to see what this video is about. And I mean, it's really creating this idea and pushing on this idea of like populism, right? Populism is the electoral idea of us against another group, kind of like creating your team, identifying the enemy, and we are working to defeat that enemy. So that is usually that's the style of politics she has, Bernie has, and it's going to be curious the connection she has with these Republican voters. So that's what this video is about. We sat AOC down with Republican voters. Can she win them over? Which I think you're going to have more in common than you think with a lot of just Republican voters. The difference is like Republican voters are MAGA. That's the big thing, right? Is it Republican voters or is it MAGA? And it says Republican voters here. So if it's just like the 70% of Republicans that aren't Trump sycophants, I think that you're going to get them a lot. I don't think that anyone that is a diehard MAGA will ever really respect someone like AOC. One, that she's a woman. I think it's like too deep-rooted misogyny. I don't think that they respect her, and will never respect her because she's a woman. But alas, maybe a Republican woman. We'll see. So let's see. In conjunction with More Perfect Union, we sent AOC down with Republican voters. Can she win them over? Hey, Deanne. Did the Dems need one great candidate? Yeah, Sydney. It's gonna be an ugly primary season, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be one of those things where we are gonna be having 2 debate nights. It's gonna be a lot of 2 debate night types of weeks where we're gonna have 30 people running because there is no leader of the Democratic Party with Obama retiring, I guess, taking it off, choosing not to play a part. I don't know what he's doing. He's working on his pickleball, I guess. I don't know. But he doesn't care about what's going on. So here we go. 40 podiums. Yeah, literally, it's going to be 40 podiums. I wouldn't be mad if she faced Schumer as senator. Michael, I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think, like, historically, the House was more of an investigative body than the Senate. So the House is probably even more powerful than the Senate. But now, because of the filibuster and because of the Supreme Court, and honestly, because Trump showed that you can just not actually answer a House subpoena and you don't have to answer them at all, and it just doesn't matter. Like you literally can just never show up to them, and that's it. Like, the House basically is completely neutered. That's where impeachments and investigations start. So historically, it's very one of the stronger of the legislative bodies, but unfortunately now we don't see that. So we'll see. He's above the law. No, Terry, I think I think we underestimate. It's not just Trump. Like, no Democrat has to ever answer a subpoena from a Republican House anyway now too. So it's for everyone. It's for everyone. So if the Democrats want to play the game, if they actually want to play ball, that's how it is. But we'll see how AOC does here.
In a couple of months, my sister-in-law's ceiling come crashing down.
Jeez.
Nobody from Amazon has bothered to say one word. It was 3 blasts a day, 7 days a week for months.
This is unbelievable.
So Obama is not positioning himself as a primary elder statesman and a stabilizing force for the Democratic Party. Exactly, F1. So succinctly said exactly what I've taken too long to say, but yeah, that exactly. And I think that he should have that role. He's perfect for that role. He's a better community organizer than he is an executive, and it hurts us all. It's hurt us all in the last 10 years that he hasn't filled that role, but he refuses to, and we just kind of have to grin and bear it and just accept it and move on. There's not much we can do. Sucks. I don't know how the inevitable rise and proliferation of fascism in the United States doesn't get him up in the morning to actually engage and fight that with every ounce of his being. I don't know. It doesn't get Obama excited in order to join the fight. It gets me really excited to join the fight. And at this point, bro, if you're not down to fight fascism in the United States, there's something might be wrong with you. I don't want to organize with you politically, though. I'm not going to be sitting here trying to educate you on the evils and perilous future the United States has if we don't completely reconstruct our country following the destruction of all of our institutions. If you haven't been paying attention to politics in the last 10 years, are we going to have to go through it every single time for every single person? I'm sick of it. So I wish that wasn't Obama. I wish Obama wasn't one of these people, but we are where we are.
What happens when you take Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to the heart of the data center revolt?
And they're just trying to say that no one should cover this?
Yeah. And I'm sorry, but I'm on a Social Security check. I can't afford to do that.
You didn't blow up your ceiling.
No, I didn't.
We wanted to know how voters who feel politically homeless,
And raise your hand if your electricity bill has gone up and your water bill has gone up.
from the black suburbs of Atlanta
Are the local politicians supportive or what?
to conservative rural communities,
This is not a party issue. This is a people issue.
That's right.
So it doesn't matter what party you are. It's wrong.
how are voters going to respond to a Democratic socialist from New York?
People want to call me woke, whatever. This is about power.
With the Trump administration pushing for more data centers,
The AI race is a big deal. Construction of colossal data centers.
Jesus.
We have to get this stuff built.
where does that leave regular people like Beverly Morris?
Well, I feel trapped because I have no way out.
How is the backlash against a data center boom the key to unlocking America's politics?
I mean, bro, these same people in these same counties did not care when fracking went in, decimated their towns. These huge booms in jobs, and then the fracking ran dry and busts and just decimation. And now it's happening again with data centers. And these data centers are not being taxed. That is crazy. Like, if you and I made a warehouse, okay, of this size, think of the property taxes, right? The property taxes are going to be super high because you're taking up a super large amount of space. You're going to be taxed at a really high rate. Not these data centers. These data centers are having tax carve-outs for these billionaire investors by the local politicians. So the local politicians are saying like, hey, we want you to build here so bad that we will literally let you be tax-free in this space, which is unfathomable. It should be the other way. These billionaire investors should have to pay for grid, infrastructure, renewable energy production, all these upgrades in the local community. Like, these communities should be benefited by by having these data centers, because these data centers are literally going to be the infrastructure of the next 100 years of our lives, ladies and gentlemen. The AI is not going away. Computers aren't going anywhere. It's only going to get bigger. It's only going to be a bigger part of our economy and our lives. So it is crucial that we actually try to rein it in right now and actually get what we can in terms of social and societal benefit from these data centers. It absolutely is necessary. What happened to building the smart grid? Cruising Life and YouTube. Well, it was stolen from you. The infrastructure bill that Biden passed that took 20 years in order to pass. I remember George W. Bush talking about it. There's the infrastructure bill and the Inflation Reduction Act that had $400 billion set aside for the smart grid and all that development, and all that money and those piggy banks all got raided in order to have Trump balance his budget reconciliation omnibus spending so he could basically give more tax cuts and more tax breaks to billionaires. So there was, $400 billion of it for the entire nation, 70% of which went to Republican counties, which is wild to me. 700, we're talking Republican counties were going to get $300 billion in economic development during a Democrat. Our pipe dream, our best case scenario as Democrats is to basically economically develop these Republican states, because Republican governors and Republican mayors do not invest into their own cities and states. They just don't. So Democrats have to go in and develop these places so that they actually have jobs, so that they have money, so that they can actually make, self-sustaining, high-paying 21st century jobs. And you had congressman after congressman, Republican congressman, pleading with Trump to say, no, please do not do this. And he did it anyway. And here we are. And now it's even worse off. So instead of having that $300 billion in these Republican states and counties with upgraded, infrastructure for these data centers, now these data centers are being built on crumbling infrastructure. And what's going to happen? So it's a joke. It really is a joke. I would say, even if you're a Republican, even if you are MAGA, I would still vote for Democrats, because the Democrats are the only way that you are actually going to have a better quality of life. You can be MAGA, you can be Republicans, but please still vote for Democrats so that you can have a job, so that you can actually compete with other countries in the 21st century.
We've never been more polarized. I just think we got to show up in these places and see these things for ourselves.
No more data centers.
Well, do you want to show us? There's been some damage to your house?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Come on.
Pamela Felder purchased her dream home 3 years ago.
So the first initial thing I saw was the crack in my porch.
Wow.
That's not that big,
All
dude.
the way across.
All was well until explosive blasts started to shake her home earlier this
concrete cracking like that, it's not huge, but it is weird. A little. That does suck. That does suck.
year.
It sounded like someone picked up my house and went boom. A week after that, that's when I started seeing cracks all throughout my house.
Oh, wow.
And I found out they're putting a data center in my backyard.
The 2 million square foot hyperscale data center is being built less than a mile from Pamela's home.
In Northern California, exactly.
You can still see where the paint is ripped all the way up my stairs. I noticed the ceiling that looked cracked across there.
My dad worked in construction, so
Oh, he did?
so if I look like I'm really sticking my nose
No,
in here,
I don't care.
because
I
I'm
want you
taking
to.
a real look.
I love that. I love AOC. I hate. It's so frustrating to me. It's so typical that like because AOC is attractive, smart, relatable, a woman, like the same just like playbook always like it goes against her, and it's so frustrating to me how her being like a bartender is seen as like a bad thing. You know what I mean? Oh, it's bad that she's relatable and that she knows actually what it's like to live in the world. Imagine. A recent Gallup poll revealed that 71% of Americans now oppose building AI data centers in their local communities. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I would too. If you're not getting anything out of it and you're getting a huge tax break for being there, why would you want them to build that? Like, why would you? That it doesn't make any sense. The $300 billion infrastructure money went to the top 1%. Exactly, Hazel. Exactly.
Are experiencing
$300 billion, guys. That is a massive amount of money. Massive. It is not. And think about this. Like, what did we get in return? Like, what is Bezos or Elon Musk going to do that's worth $400 billion for our country? Right? What are they going to do to improve our lives in economic development? Nothing.
the same thing.
Mm-hmm. We're all sending letters out to the blasting company.
And what are they saying when they deny it?
They said my house was settling.
Oh, so everyone here's house is settling at the same time.
At the same time.
Pamela.
I mean, if it's a new development, I mean, is it they just bought it for the last 3 years? I don't know. I mean, that's also could be true, but there's a lot of other circumstantial evidence that you know, it all comes together. So it's obviously something is happening.
His neighbor also came by and insisted we see a giant sinkhole she said
That's
was
gnarly.
caused by the blasts.
That's gnarly.
Makes you want to cry. No one's listening. Why a data center? Why now? Why here?
Unprecedented amounts of money are behind the race to build. Meta is investing $600 billion in data center infrastructure.
I mean, this is where that money went, right? We gave these billionaires an insane tax break. And Meta, what Meta does, there used to be a thing that was banned called stock buybacks. So basically, every quarter, Meta will have a report that is given out there. And basically, it says how much of their own stock that Meta is buying. So Meta, as a company, they make a profit, right? They make a profit for something. And with that profit, what are they going to do with that money? Well, normally they have to invest it into new buildings, to create new jobs, to create new products. They're going to buy out another company so that they can increase their services, so that they can entertain more customers. You know, there's a whole host of ways that a company could spend that money, and that money then goes into other parts of the economy. This is how the economy like develops, right? This is kind of like how money is spread around. Well, this thing called a stock buyback that used to be banned, I believe it was deregulated under Reagan. I'm not 100% sure, but I want to say it's during Reagan. Basically, it allowed them to say, Meta's like, you know what's a good investment? Meta is a good investment. Meta, our own stock, is an investment. And why is that bad? Because it keeps the money circular, right? It creates a closed loop where their profits aren't being invested into the local economies that are surrounding their company. They're inwardly expanding into themselves, and they are making more money as their own company expands. So That's what's happening. That's why it used to be banned. And it's a really, really bad thing. And all the companies do it now. All the top S&P 500 companies are all doing stock buybacks. And it's one of the reasons why you don't see a lot of like capital expenditure outside of these major companies, because they just are, all the money is here. Like, no, who has $600 billion to spend? So it is, it's really frustrating. No, I'm here, Hummingbird. What's up, dude? We're watching a video. It's called "We Sat AOC Down with Republican Voters. Can she win them over?"
Through 2028, OpenAI has pledged over $400 billion. Even the real estate company responsible for this site just closed a $3.25 billion funding round.
If these tech folks love these data centers so much, put it in your backyard.
That's right. That's right. Or
you put it in your backyard.
Put it away from people's homes.
This is why we're saying,
because they can buy it cheaper next to yours. You know, that's just what it is. You know,
we need to slow the roll on this because they're moving fast. We're just saying pause it so that we can move forward in a more just way.
That's right.
In a fair way.
Yeah.
Oh no, the 1,000-year oak in Sherwood Forest has died. Oh, that's awful, Hummingbird.
For everybody.
For everybody.
Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you for your...
But far from the black suburbs of Atlanta is much Trumpier country, and the idea of AOC isn't as enthusiastically received.
There's some really extreme liberal views out there.
Before they met her, I asked folks what they knew about AOC's politics.
Just from an overall view, very fringe left.
It's so like, it's so cringe, man. Like I'm sorry, but it's only like far left because these people are like literally fascists, like the most authoritarian. You know, like the Overton window has shifted so far to the right in the country that it's like anathema to think that you could actually, you know, use democracy in order to progress society. Like the idea of like, you know, us being able to enact legislation that benefits all of us is like, wait, government can like do things that are productive? Like what?
Probably a lot more conservative than she is.
How are your politics
wait, did this lady just say I'm a lot more conservative than she is?
I'm probably a lot more conservative than she is.
Like, I would honestly argue with that. I would be like, who is conservative? Like, I want to conserve the Constitution. I want to conserve the checks and balances of the U.S. Constitution. I want to conserve the ability for the U.S. House of Representatives to check the power of the presidency. I want to conserve the environment. I want to conserve natural resources. I want to conserve biodiversity. I want to conserve competition in our markets. I want to conserve a living wage. I want to conserve unions. Like the idea of conserve the working class. Exactly, Nico. Like these people are radical, man. These people are absolutely radical. And I mean, honestly, I would say that like a lot of people, you know, I don't think that there is a conservative party in the United States right now. Like genuinely, I actually don't think it. I mean, both like MAGA is very progressive in that they are radically building and creating through legislation and through executive orders a country that they think is progress in their own minds, right? There really isn't a party that's like trying to stop progress or stop things from happening, right? Progressive, pro, yes, conservative, no. And then there's like reactionary politics. Reactionary is kind of like going back to a time. So MAGA says that they are reactionary in the fact that they want to make America great again, but obviously the United States was never a white Christian nation, right? But that's where they want to take us. So that is why this is a complete departure from where we were previously, and they are trying to take us in a whole new, insanely radical direction that's never existed.
How are your politics evolving? And
they're evolving.
I'm not real impressed with the politics on either side.
It's Handmaid's Tale. Yeah, exactly. Radical. Me? Am I a radical? Multi-guess.
Met Beverly Morris and her husband Jeff last year when they showed us how the construction of a 2.5 million square foot Meta data center is contaminating their drinking water, a charge which Meta denies.
This is my cold water pressure in the kitchen.
So you can see the sediment from the data center.
And this is what's in all the pipes, too. They should be responsible for that, not us.
Like, it really frustrates me, too, how people wrote off the Green New Deal. It's so frustrating to me because it's like people haven't read it. You should read it. If you've never read the Green New Deal, maybe we could read the Green New Deal afterwards to this. Maybe that's what we do. Let's read the Green New Deal after this. Like, actually read the legislation. Because the idea that it is radical is the biggest gaslight in American politics. It is absolutely not. And what's the difference between MAGA and conservative to you? I mean, MAGA is a white Christian nationalist movement that is using authoritarian means in order to create that state, you know? Yes, exactly, with unitary executive theory. Exactly, Bill. Yeah. So Republicans would be people that would not identify as MAGA, but that still use MAGA as a force of, a political force. I don't think that there is a conservative party. I don't think that the Republicans are conservative. I don't think that there is a right-wing conservative party in this country. I don't think so. I mean, I think that there are some never Trump Republicans that are very few and far away that want to get back to kind of a like George W. Bush style politics. But I don't think that anyone is really conservative anymore. Conservatism doesn't make sense in the days of social media. Conservatism isn't sexy. It's not going to sell on algorithms. Like you can't just say no to something. Like you have to espouse something that you're trying to like go to, that you're trying to push people to, right? Especially Carrie. I mean, especially with Bush, man, George W. Bush and Trump too. I mean, man, they are completely like pretty much in lockstep, right? I mean, it's basically the George W. Bush imperialist wet dream that we are seeing right now. Like grounded, like invasion after invasion into nation after nation with unchecked power. And even George W. Bush had to ask the United Nations in order to invade Iraq. But they didn't even do that. They didn't even do that. So it's wild.
When we were here last year with them, Meta was still building this data center, but now it's operational.
I worry about using the water for everything.
Yeah.
I don't use the water for cooking anymore. I did for a while, you know. I thought, oh, you know, I've got to use it.
Right.
I wouldn't drink it. I haven't drank the water here in
it should
years.
be, I mean, this is my view, but it should be a right for you to be able to turn on your tap and drink what comes out of it.
The Morrises
Yes,
aren't
obviously.
alone. Other residents also came to us with stories of their contaminated water.
This is the sediment that it's picking up. The cold water pressure everywhere is pretty bad. You cannot take a shower and wash dishes or take a shower and fill up the horse's water. You just can't.
Our refrigerator broke, our HVAC broke. We have issues with the pool. So anything that's water related, we have issues with. And this is the filters.
MAGA is a cult. Conservative Republicans are less progressive than Democrats as a whole. They aren't super liberal. That's why progressive policies are hard to pass. I think Biden was the most progressive president of our lifetimes. You know, I think it's pretty objectively speaking that Biden was like, if you would have told me that it was Bernie Sanders that was elected president and then all the bills that were passed by Biden, and you just put Bernie Sanders there, I would say, wow, like this is the dream. We literally lived the dream, bro. Or if you swapped the legislative achievements of Obama and Biden, I would have been like, wow, Obama fulfilled the progressive dream that we had. Could they use water filtration and be able to drink this? Theoretically, Carrie, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can use water filtration to drink the worst water for sure. Data centers just seem like the end times. I mean, at Hummingbird, it is a way of extracting our resources for private profits in a rate and a way that we have never seen before. So, what state are they in? That's a good question. I don't know. Conservative maintains the status quo. Liberal liberates the status quo. Maintains their view of the status quo. Okay, yeah. I drink San Diego water tap daily. Yeah, and have since the 1980s. Yeah, Sydney. Yeah, I think that you do it. Extracting resources in like space and the natural resources and the gas and the nuclear power that runs it. It's more of like the power. The water is not the biggest issue that with data centers. If you really cared about water, you would ban golfing. Like golfing is way worse, way like 100 times worse than data centers. So it's, I mean, but yeah.
From the filtration system after we pull it out. So
really, a single large data center consume up to 5 million gallons of water per day. Really? I heard, because I had heard that someone was, I heard it was a closed loop. Like normally, like they don't work by evaporative cooling. It's more of like it brings the hot water into, against the CPU or the GPU, and then it heats up the water and then it cools down that water. It's a closed loop system. So I don't understand how you would be using that much water. So that's what I'm curious about that.
And you used to change those filters once a year, or?
Yeah.
I think typical people are probably 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And now you're doing it once a month?
Yeah.
But you feel stuck, right?
That's
you
wild.
feel like you can't, even if you wanted to move, you can't.
No, not and be able to get the value.
Closed loop isn't standard. I mean, if it's not, then that is like a huge regulation that would have to be done. You know what I mean? That's energy is the bigger problem, I think, Nico. I think like the energy that's used is astronomical. The fact that it should be illegal to run these things on natural gas, like straight up, like it should be illegal. Like that is asinine. It doesn't make any sense. It has to be renewable. It has to work on solar and wind arrays or nuclear. I think that those are the two things. I would be okay with nuclear, each of these having their own nuclear power plants. I think that makes a lot of sense, actually, like a breeder reactor. I think it makes a lot of sense.
That we put into our home.
Well, let's keep going down the line here, Connie.
Our fight is in Coweta County. We just had a large parcel of land rezoned for a data center, but we don't know who it is yet that's coming.
And I'm Tina. I live in Oxford, Georgia, and it's the Amazon data center.
We're not just fighting Facebook or Amazon or any of these data centers. That's not who we're fighting. We're fighting the entire institution that allows it.
They think people aren't paying.
Do they put solar panels on the roofs of the data centers? I don't know. I mean, they should, but I wasn't seeing like massive amounts of solar on top of them.
Paying attention. They'll go sniffing around, jiggling every door handle to see what county they can push these things through on.
Yeah, exactly.
It is necessary. I understand the need for it.
They're not.
But the manner in which they're going about it is not only wrong, it doesn't even make sense.
I don't blame Amazon. I don't blame the.
It does make sense. It makes perfect sense. Guys, what it doesn't make sense to are people without billions of dollars. The power that you are seeing with the data centers, the amount of incalculable efficiency and power and development that's sprung up from these things is the power of capital. And when you have hundreds of billions of dollars that is going into something, you get a lot of stuff done. That's why it matters when we had $200 billion going into science every year. Now it's like $50 billion. That's why it matters when we cut these things. There is power with capital, and it's unfathomable to us because we are mere mortals. We do not have power through our money, through our capital. Our money doesn't have a job. We are the job to make money. But when you have so much money that it can make money and do jobs for you, that's literally what we cannot comprehend. And this is the distinction, right? This is the problem. Data centers require massive amounts of water because almost 100% of the electrical power sent into the computer servers is immediately converted into intense physical heat. Okay, but what if that physical heat, it's going to expand the water, right? But is it going to boil off the heat? If a data center cannot dissipate this heat, the microscopic transistors inside advanced AI microchips will literally melt down within seconds. Interesting. Trump has removed all HIV vaccine clinics funding in South Africa as a white genocide is the reason. Oh my gosh. Imagine if we spent all this money on cancer research or even science and development, dude. Like that would be amazing. I don't know. I'm not a physicist. To prevent this, data centers function as giant heat rejection factories. Interesting. It's interesting.
Those businesses, I blame our government. That's who's supposed to be taking care of me. My commissioner should have been.
This person thinks that the government should take care of them.
Businesses, I blame our government. That's who's supposed to be taking care of me. My commissioner should have been looking after our community. Our governor should be looking after our state, like it goes up. A business is a business, and it's about making business, and they They don't care what they're doing to people.
Right.
They don't, and that's a shame, but they're greedy and they don't
the
care.
way it is.
That's a shame. It's like, bro, Elon Musk has so much money he could alleviate severe world hunger tomorrow. That's a shame. But oh well.
We appreciate you taking the time
like
to come here.
like that's why we remove these questions from businesses so we don't have to beg them for those funds. That's what taxes are. So you have money to do things like this. It's so wild. We're talking about data centers, and we were talking about the how or why the water usage of data centers. Because I had thought that like as the heat gets transferred and dissipates into the water is going to expand. It's going to try to evaporate, but you could use a high pressure system to kind of like stop that boiling from happening, which is what happens like in an autoclave, right? You're above the boiling point, but you can have pressure keeping it down. So if it's a closed system, how can it use so much water? We should absolutely tax the rich like 90%. Absolutely. It's like not even close. So many problems, like legitimately, so many problems would have been solved if we had just kept that and then not gone to war in the Middle East with George W. Bush. That's $10 trillion right there. So that's $10 trillion just in the Middle East alone. Okay, so that's a third of our national debt. Boom, instantly wiped out. I mean, it's just wild, man.
About it, because until someone at a national level gets really serious about it, nothing's going to happen.
We should be starting congressional investigations on the effect on these, and figuring out with precision how we protect our water supplies, how we protect your power bills and water bills, and keep people from getting sick.
50 miles
Damn,
away
all white.
from
Damn, look at those white kicks that she has on, dude. Those are
and
fresh.
keep people from getting
Look at those.
sick.
That's fresh. Look how white those are, bro. Look at that. She got fresh kicks on, man. Okay. Google's entire global footprint of data centers and office consumes roughly 6.4 billion gallons of water annually. Wow. That's a lot. Wow.
50 miles away from the Morrises, a group of residents successfully pushed for a moratorium on a 95-acre data center project.
Now, wait a minute. Where do I know you from?
I'm a congresswoman from New York.
Oh, come on. Yeah, you my girl. You know,
We organized because we know what we want in our community. And they
Dude, like, yeah, AOC is awesome, man. Look at those fresh kicks, man. Look at those all white. Like she's with matching like socks. There you go. Question: why do we need data centers? I mean, AI is the infrastructure for humanity going forward, man. It's like AI. I've been thinking about trying to like what is the correct analogy for AI, and for the longest time, I have thought about AI being like the internet. And when I was talking to people about the internet in like 98, 99, when I was using it, people would always tell me like, why do I need the internet? The internet's just this thing on my computer and it doesn't impact my life. And it's kind of the same way now where people are like, why do I need AI? How is it impacting me? And AI hasn't integrated into everything yet, and it's going to be. But I still think that the correct analogy is actually electricity. You could theoretically exist in a world without the internet right now. You could theoretically still exist without the internet. You could not exist on the world without using electricity, like in any capacity. Yeah, it's just not possible. Like even like Aboriginal tribes are connected in some way. You see pictures of them and they're like wearing shirts and stuff that are made by, electrical machines. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. But I think that in the future, like it's going to be ubiquitous, that in a way that we can't really fathom. Okay, so we got, ladies and gentlemen, we have a theoretical physicist in YouTube chat. Thank you so much, Chase Martin Physics. Thank you for answering the questions. Data centers aren't boiling water. They use evaporation just like human sweat. So water doesn't need to reach 212 Fahrenheit to evaporate. When it turns to vapor, it carries away server heat. That makes sense to me. So it's like it's going in cool, heating up, taking that heat away. A sealed pressurized loop would save water, but open evaporation is way cheaper and uses less electricity. Because you have to remove the heat from the water, and that takes more electricity probably. Is that what the Freon and stuff is used? Because you have to like take away that heat and it has to go into somewhere else. Okay, interesting. Thank you, Chase. Question: what was really in the COVID-19 jab? It's the mRNA and lipid nanoparticles, man. It's super. There's not much. No, there's no Neuralink thing. No.
Not anticipate that when they had the Board of Commissioner meeting that hundreds of us were going to show up. They couldn't deny us. They had to stop and say, wait a minute.
Across the country, more than 50 local data center moratoriums have already been enacted, with dozens more proposed or under consideration across the U.S. But this patchwork approach has left...
Yes, you always want to get all types of boosters. If you're over 30, you want to get a vaccine panel done too. You want to check and make sure that you actually still have your antibodies. It's called a titer, a blood titer. So you want to make sure that you actually have everything in it. Chase from YouTube chat. Yes, exactly. That is the fundamental principle of all refrigeration and air conditioning. You cannot destroy heat. You can trap it and move it somewhere else. Gotcha. Interesting. Cool. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for answering that question.
Left a lot of communities vulnerable.
Good.
We're
Carrie.
in a neighborhood that's in unincorporated Clayton County, but just over the fence line is the city limits of Forest Park, and that is where the facility is being built.
Wow, okay, all right. So the county has a moratorium,
yes,
but the city does not?
Correct.
Wow. And so the city, even though the city is inside the county, it's not covered. Hoo-wee. Yes. All right, talk about a loophole.
Yes.
For now, the local fight continues.
The community has said we want walkability in our neighborhoods, we want clean air, we want clean water, but we have to keep fighting. It's like
I'm actually really surprised at the coordination and how, like, you don't see, at least I don't see, maybe I'm really in a bubble, right? My algorithm doesn't show a bunch of these, in my locality, because we don't have a bunch of data centers. I mean, you would think that they would have a bunch of data centers in Southern California. But I know that there have been a couple of them that I've known about. But it's really interesting to me, the political organization and how quickly people have politically organized to oppose this stuff before it's even really gotten into the zeitgeist, right? Of like a national movement to stop these things. I think that that's really interesting. Chase, you have helped me understand vaccines and modern biological science. I'm just happy to be able to return the favor. Love your page. Oh, thank you, Chase. Thank you. That's so nice of you. Thank you for being here, man. I love it. Efon, the largest and most overlooked segment of data centers' water footprint doesn't even happen at the facility itself. Really, it occurs miles away at the electric power plant supplying its energy. Wow. How would but most of the country is in natural gas. So how would water be used in a natural gas power plant? But isn't that just because it's probably firing it's burning something, which then that's causing the same motion, because pretty much like every single power plant, all power generation relies on like moving water around and heating water up, right? Because then it's just like once you heat that water up, it moves, and then that movement can then turn a piston or whatever, right? Becerra is about to give us many data centers, dude. Don't worry. But I know, dude. Becerra is like turbine. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Cruisin. Oh, Becerra. Oh my God. Yes, data centers are absolutely using natural gas, and the reliance on it is exploding right now. In fact, natural gas is quickly become the primary fuel powering the artificial boom. Yeah, and I feel like it's so frustrating. You'd think that like I would honestly like nuclear would be great for these breeder reactors right outside of all these breeder reactors with solar and wind array. You know, like on all of these things. That seems to be the way to go. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Chase. Yeah, all of our power is just steam, coal, nuclear, oil, all of it. Okay. Yeah. San Onofre has like serious problems with their pipes. Basically, it got shut down because it was like the pipes had gotten so decrepit that they didn't want to spend the money in order to like re-pipe the entire thing, and so that's why they shut it down. California has 300 operational data centers. Interesting. Maybe it's just not around me.
Continual fight. It's like we're surrounded by piranhas, you know, that just keep trying to pick at us, but we just keep fighting.
In March 2026, AOC and Senator Bernie Sanders introduced legislation at the federal level called the AI Data Center Moratorium Act. It's both a response to growing...
Gotta shut it down until we figure out what's going on. Like how, I mean, if immigration gets us shut down to figure out what's going on, I feel like we should do the same for AI data centers, at least. I don't know. It's the biggest and most money in the world is backing this, guys. I mean, we've given too much power to the billionaires and the trillionaires in the world. Like that's just what it is. I don't know. It's pretty simple. Virginia has the most data centers, I believe. Oh, wow, double than California's. Wow, that's wild.
Opposition to these facilities, but also about the need to establish a nationwide policy about their construction.
Our responsibility is to take care of people, and that is what we're here to do today.
What you're proposing is a national moratorium.
Yes, and it's, you know, it's not the same thing as an outright ban, but it's saying we need to meet some basic protections for people. We need some guarantees on your water, on the air that you breathe. We need to make sure that the jobs that stand to be wiped out, that there's a plan for that, and we're not just leaving people.
We need to invest in fusion power. Yeah, I think we are. There's some really cool new research going into that for sure.
You know, out to dry, and we need to just have some really basic common sense protections for people.
A couple minutes left.
The bill would require a building moratorium until the federal government passes laws mitigating job losses, preventing utility rate hikes, and establishing environmental protections, among other things. The question is whether this is enough to persuade conservative voters to support someone far across the political aisle.
Do you think that people here could get behind someone like AOC and her ideas for AI and data centers?
I think they would get behind anyone who was going to fight for their rights to clean water and to live their life without dealing with this.
Now the tide on this is starting to turn. The politics on this, because everyday people are starting to catch on to what's going on.
She may be on the left, but on the data center issue, seems more centered and genuinely concerned about people. And that's refreshing to hear.
How do you wrap your head around address?
It's just like people like that, dude. I just can't take them seriously. I don't know. It's so funny. Like it can't be no. It can't be that I'm more left on an issue. It has to be her. It has to be her. She's the one that's coming over to me. You know what I mean? That's the weird thing to me. It's like, why can't you be more caring about environment and like the pluralistic approaches as opposed to this individual approach? No. That's not. No. She's coming over to me.
Discussing this at the national level.
We need to put people first.
Only when it happens to them, they change, just like COVID. Yeah, Bill, with like gay marriage. Like that, Dick Cheney, super opposed, gay daughter. Wow. Isn't it weird? Like we literally have to have, okay. This is what I'm proposing. Okay, guys, bring it in. Okay, bring it in. Everyone bring it in. Okay. Look, this is what we got to do. We have to devise AI so every single MAGA can experience every single human emotion, so therefore they can have sympathy for people other than themselves. just let them just give them give them empathy through AI VR. And let them live through the eyes of someone else every day so that they actually can understand empathy for the first time in their life. It's like oh my god, there's no way. We're doomed. Like just the idea of him having to like guys, it's like human health is tied to environmental health, right? That's what we're seeing here. Environmental health isn't like some abstract thing. The environment isn't something that's way over there and that humans are just over here. Or like, oh, the environment is like, yeah, like when you're hiking and when you're outside, but like I'm, doing my own thing inside. Like our own health as humans is intricately tied to how well the environment is doing. So if the environment is being destroyed, our health is being destroyed. When the environment is being ravaged by pollution, humans get polluted. Like God.
And we need those.
Fusion power is extremely difficult. Currently, it takes more energy to start a nuclear fusion reaction than we can get out. Some more work is shown. It's possible to get more though. Yeah, Chase, we did a. I had a physicist on, and we went through like all the physics on it for like 2 hours a couple of months ago. And it was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah, exactly, Heather. Oh no. Yeah, wasn't that wild trying to explain to that guy that we're actually inside of an ice age right now? Like, isn't that wild? Oh my God.
protections to be ironclad and guaranteed before we can have a conversation about what does and doesn't get constructed.
Do you think that this is an issue that could maybe pull our country together?
I don't know if it's going to pull our government all together. It's pulling the people together.
Oh my God. Yeah, because I wonder, lady. I wonder. I wonder why.
I don't know if it's going to pull our government all together. It's pulling the people together.
Yeah. Man. Guys, I'm starting to think that maybe there's like there's a thing where like our government is working in lockstep with private profits, and private profits are being looked at over human rights, and the government itself is trying to make money. And man, like if only there was like a word for this. They can't something like like it's happened in Spain. What's the word? What is that word? It's happened in like Germany. So, authoritarianism, where you have like, a dictator that's fusing corporate and governmental power to trounce on human rights and xenophobically go after minority groups. Oh, what is the is there anything? Could there be anything happening here? And maybe the fact that this government is going to like this new direction for like, I don't know, private corporate governmental profits, we're going to get squeezed out as like this other class of people that doesn't exist and has no inalienable rights in our world, where we are further and further squeezed out as the power of capital keeps increasing, as they subsume more resources and capital, because it's an unchecked governmental power now, because there is no difference between private profits and public governments. Dang. I swear, has this ever happened before? Has this ever happened before in the history of the world? No, it must be new. It must be new. Yeah, exactly. Profa. We're Profa now. Oh my gosh, man. Lady's discovering fascism in real time. She is discovering fascism in real time, and she's like, Mao, that's crazy. Chase, the almighty algorithm brought me to you for the Kent Hovind debate, which has to be like the debate version of living the movie 50 First Dates. Nice. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Chase. No, it's all good, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being in chat. It's not called technocracy, fired. It's not called technocracy. It's cute though. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's definitely not called technocracy. Technocracy is when you have a group of educated and specialized people that rule over that specific portion of the government. So like environmental policy, you would have a bunch of environmental lawyers, environmental scientists, like all working together in tandem, and they would create and enact and execute policy that was based off of expert opinion from that specific area. That's not the type of government that we have. It's also not a representative democracy, right? It's also you would basically have autonomous silos inside of our government. The most technocratic part of our United States of America actually isn't even officially a part of the government. It's the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is its own independent body that has its own technocratic ability to look at the data, understand what's happening, and make its own self-governing decisions without feedback from politicians. And so the Fed is, the more you learn about the Fed, it is actually kind of interesting how it actually happens. State capitalism, no. Yeah. Okay. Sure, Fire My Doc. Sure, bud.
If there's a chance that anything can be done, I feel like she is going to be the one to do it.
If anything can be done, she is the one. Wow. That is impressive. That's crazy. That's wow.
Days later, AOC showed Beverly's water samples to an EPA water official testifying before her committee.
I have a jar right here.
I talked about this. I was debating someone when they were talking about they're a Trumper, and he got so mad about this because I was talking about it, and he was like, "Ugh, you just believe anything that you'll see on TV, huh? You believe AOC?" I was like, bro, what the?
Only difference between the clean
I'm
water
fumbling
and
for
this
sure, dude.
was that data center. I have another one as well. This is what the drinking water now looks like next to that data center. And I think both of us can agree that neither one of these things are drinkable.
So as soon as I get back to the office, I will be looking into exactly what you've just talked about, because anywhere, whatever type of construction it is a priority to ensure that water quality standards established by EPA are being met.
There are a lot of people with a lot of money who
Look at this person. Look at this person. They think the EPA still exists. What a fool. Oh, cute. They think the EPA still exists. Corporatocracy, government, and corporate merge to control, ensuring profit over the working class. Yeah. I for sure, F1. I guess I was alluding to fascism because it has the demagogue and the xenophobia elements that are like working together. But yeah, corporatocracy is definitely a part of fascism.
want to see this thing slow down. They're like, the train's moving fast. We can't afford to stop.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean the interesting thing is like an oligarchy versus a technocracy too, because like technically an oligarchy is just a small group of people that are deciding for larger, amount of people. So technically those could be experts, right? That would be, that would be something that you could have.
I've been in a lot of political fights that have seemed insurmountable before that we've won.
1, 2, 3.
No data center.
No. I just don't believe in impossible. I just think that, if you think something's impossible, it's just that's an imagination problem.
We're going to keep following this story. If you have any tips for us, please reach out at stories@perfectunion.us and continue to follow our reporting in the months to come.
There you go, guys. Thank you, guys. Yeah, thank you for the basically if you gift on YouTube, it's like a 20% boost. So yeah, I get to keep 70% of anything that you gift me for YouTube, but I only get to take 50% of all the gifts on YouTube. On TikTok. Oh, to be honest, Obama said the Flint water was safe. Okay, so you're saying that you're saying that you do care about clean water? Like, what aboutism? Like, what about that one time, that thing that person did the same thing? All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna go to bed. I gotta be up super early in like 5 hours. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I thank you for watching on YouTube. And YouTube is popping off. I put out a rage edit. This is honestly one of my favorite things. One of my favorite videos that I've ever done. One of like my favorite. I really was frustrated with this Michelle Obama thing though, so I'm not. I wasn't rage bait. Okay, it's not rage bait. I really was frustrated. This MAGA roast one. Don't watch it with your kids in the room. All right, that's it's like one of my favorite videos I've ever made. I showed my dad today because I was like really excited that my YouTube was like popping off and stuff, and showing him the analytics and stuff. And I was like, if this is like a 10-minute video, that would be funny to show him, like, and he was not amused. He did not get it. No, yeah, that this was a rage bait. Yeah, I did see that. The first joke was great. I thought it was hilarious. But I was joking, but he did not think it was that funny. He was like, so wait, do you actually debate people though? And I'm like, yeah. I debate people, yeah. It's just sometimes they try to punch me, and so I punch them back, you know? But he didn't get that. The Obama speech is dropping tomorrow, so if you're interested in watching it, I think it's just like it's toxic. To my dad, it's like super toxic, and he's like, this is like a brand risk. Whoa, thank you, F-on, thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate you, F-on. A 20-pound super chat. Thank you so much. It's just a little bit more toxic than he was expecting, I think. It's like kind of a brand risk. He's like worried about me kind of like tarnishing my image, you know, and taken out of context, it does look very bad that I am just like making fun of someone's mom, you know. But it's like, no, they were insulting me first, you know. So there, a lot of people are that's not really, you know, what they're going to care about. But I'm happy with it. I'm proud of it. And yeah. Did I drop a mom joke, Heather? Oh my gosh. Did I drop honestly, the best mom joke I've ever dropped, by far, the best mom joke. It was so, I actually thought of it in real time, and I was so excited. You can actually hear me like kind of blurt it out. Like, I was so excited to get it out, and then I was like, okay, I gotta calm it down. So this lands. And then I told him, I was like, let's calm down. And he was like, no, you started this. I'm not calming down. And then I hit him with it again. It was so funny. Oh my God. I was laughing so hard. I laugh when I watch it. It's weird. It's weird laughing at yourself, you know? It was an age. That was a good one too. I marked that one. So I was like, maybe I could clip that one. Good night, Hazel. Yeah. I because of the stuff with that's going off with the Kent Hovind video, Did it hit 50,000? Oh my God, guys, 51,000. Wow. I am so proud.
Biologically or mechanistically to stop evolution from.
I'm like, that's gnarly. I never would have thought that I would have a 50,000 view video. Like, really, that makes me so happy. I know that seems weird, but he he didn't like it. He actually thought about the flag code too. I was like, bro, like, come on. He was like, I don't like when Pete Hegseth does the flag code desecration either. And I'm like, bro. Okay. Yes, exactly, Efon. I think I can make 100,000 subscribers in a year for sure. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Like, this is June 11th. So it took off that day, June 11th. And then, yeah, I mean, it hasn't even been 2 weeks. And then within 2 or 3 days of this happening, I get monetized. And then from like 20,000 on, now it's all been monetized. So I've doubled my subscribers. My subscribers doubled my subscribers during that period of time. I've gone from like 650 to 1,300, just in that time alone. It's been like wild. So it's been really, really cool. It's been really cool. And guess what? It's because of browse features. 64% of views from browse. So that means what's happening is that people are searching Kent Hovind or Kent Hovind debate, and they're clicking on that. They're clicking on that because they want to see him debate someone. And jabam. So it's yeah, it means a lot to me. It really means a lot to me, guys. I'm really happy with it. And hey, thank you guys. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate you. So oh, thank you, Hazy. Thank you, Hazy. Thank you. Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks for the subscribers. I appreciate you saying that. I think you have a lot of self-doubt, like as a content creator. Hey, you just found me from the Ken Hovind debate as well. All right. Thank you, man. It's hard. Like, as a content creator, like do you have plan on having subscriptions here on Twitch? Michael, I would love to monetize on Twitch. I just have never gotten the past the 3 concurrent viewers on Twitch to actually be monetized. Let me check on it right now. I mean, I love that you're hanging out on Twitch, but I don't have I haven't gotten the numbers over there. Let's see. Maybe I can do it right now. Path to affiliate. Yeah, 3 out of the 4. You have met 3 of the 4 going. Yeah, so here you go. Minimum of 3 average viewers on 4 different stream days. So I don't have the I just don't have it. I have my average is 0, and I need to have a minimum of 3 average. So I need 3 times the amount of people that are there. Yeah. But yeah, as a content creator, you kind of have like self-doubt, Yeah, it was. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you. I have 3 cameras here. I have a camera here, for like camera here for like talking to chat and watching a video. So then like, cause then the chat is right here. So it looks like I'm actually like talking to you and I'm actually like, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. And then when I go over here, well, oh, no. Sorry, Robin. This one right here. So if we were reading something, I have another monitor so I can like read this and we can like talk about this. And then I can go over here. You can go back here. So yeah, I have 3 cameras. I really try to make a high production value show that people would be proud to tell their friends and show to people, you know? So, and I want it to be like different. When people watch my show, they're like, wow, this feels different, you know? And that's a way that I can do that with automation. And, so that's, yeah. I could watch on YouTube. I'm just used to donating on Twitch on Buy Me a Coffee. I like the view on Twitch, but I can go to YouTube if that helps you more. Michael, I mean, whatever you want, man. Yeah, that's part of what I'm trying to understand too, is like everyone has to multi-stream now. You know, since Twitch opened up their streaming, basically everyone streams everywhere now. And so I have TikTok going right now. I have YouTube. I have Twitch. I have Kick. You know, like Kick. I've gotten nothing but spam. I've had one person one time come in and say something, but that was it. I stream on X and Facebook. Facebook is actually my number one engagement platform. It's wild. I'll get my number 2 is TikTok. I'm sorry, my number 2 is Instagram, and I'll get about 20,000 views like a month, but I'll get to like 300,000 on Facebook. And it's mostly just like anti-vax people that post instantly. It's so funny. This one guy, and there's a couple of them. They will just like, they must have the notification on my phone, and as soon as it opens, they just hit the quick reply, call me the R slur, and then hit send, and then go about their day. It like within a minute. Every single time. Oh, thank you, Ghostbusters, for the gifts. Thank you. Every single time he comments on within a minute of every single post, and he doesn't realize that it's getting cut. Like his comment gets automatically moderated every single time. But the guy's just spending like all his time in the world trying to like get back at me and stuff. It's so funny. It's so funny. Like I can't imagine being that much of a loser. You know what I mean? Like, and hate watching that much. It really is unbelievable. But yeah, Michael, I mean, what I would do if I were you though, if I was you, I would watch on YouTube, just because then you have like a chat of other people that you can chat with, and you can see their chat messages as well. Like that's where I would, if I was you, that's where I would go. I've kind of like made the executive decision to not have chat on screen, because basically in order to do that, it has to be so large to be legible, that it kind of just ruins the entire aesthetic of my stream. And I hate that. It like really bothers me. I'm really into like the aesthetic of this, how I want the stream to look as the viewer. And that's like a really big, important decision for me. And like a lot of streamers now, they don't even want it to be big enough so that you can read the chat messages. All they want you to see is how fast the chat is moving. So then it's a good indication of like, oh my God, something's happening. It's never going to be like that in here. 2, I do read the chat messages, like when I'm like talking to chat and stuff. So I don't like that. So yeah, I just have like I don't like I don't like the aesthetic. I don't like how it looks. So that's just me though. But there's more people in TikTok than anywhere else. There's 100 people in TikTok right now that are hanging out. Because like TikTok like pushes me to more views than any other platform. It's wild. So like right now, the TikTok stream has gotten 2,100 views. 2,100 people have like swiped into the stream, and for less than like 2 seconds, they've swiped off, and then 100 people are staying here. But YouTube is 110. So it's significantly less, a 20th. And it's just, they just don't have algorithmic discoverability. Twitch is notoriously like the worst, like legitimately the worst. YouTube a little bit better, but TikTok gets you the chance to go viral that no other platform gives you. It's just the censorship. That's the only thing. And I've kind of just made the decision to just eat it, whatever happens. You know, I think that like using TikTok special language is gross. It like minimizes worst aspects of society, and like the fact that you can't just use the words that are what they are because of some arbitrary, you know, AI regulation. It is weird. It's buried, but that's why I like Twitch. Twitch, it's impossible to find the stream because you literally have to stream. You just have to scroll to the bottom of just chatting in order to find me. You know what I mean? It's very tough. It's very tough. And there's no pausing for streams. Yeah, I hate Bill. I hate that. Because what it does is it kidifies, it kind of like makes light of the real violence and problems that exist in society, because now we're saying grape instead of rape, and it's like, it's not okay. You know what I mean? Like that it isn't this cutesy little word. You know, it's like a serious thing, you know? And I mean, for what it's worth, I've said firearms like my entire time on TikTok, and I've never had a problem with it. But yeah, the other streamers are now saying the words. Yeah, I think. I mean, what's I can let you guys know. I mean, I basically are making now through YouTube like more money on YouTube than I'm making battling than I used to battle on TikTok, which feels amazing because I'm actually like making content that I'm proud of, you know, and even if it's like React content or something, I think it's like more fun and entertaining for me as a content creator. I'm engaging with ideas that people are actually thinking about, and it like helps me be more relevant as a content creator, you know? TikTok battling is just like, it can be fun. The 2% of the time that it's actually a good conversation, it's actually really fun. But it's tough. The other streamers are now saying, this is awesome, and I think TikTok is ruining itself with the censorship and battles. Yeah. Yeah, Hazy, exactly. Yeah. Like sexual violence is not okay. And like the fact that you can't talk about it, you know, because it's like, I don't know. It bothers me at some point. So they should make an adult TikTok where the words they flag are crazy. I think I think TikTok would be better with no moderation. You know, to be honest with you, and that's like the most anarcho-capitalist like viewpoint that I have. But I'm like the conspiracies are already spread so far and wide on TikTok. The idea that they're actually making a difference by, doing any of this regulation, I don't think it's worth it. So, but that's just me. Yeah, I mean, Bill, I think you're right, but it's also kind of like this thing where I think TikTok is unique, and what makes TikTok incredible is it feels like you're a part of a group chat. You basically go over to your friend's house, they're live, and like hang out with them, and there's no other site or social media experience that is like TikTok lives, where you can come up as a panelist, you can invite people as a panel, and then it's just one massive voice chat basically. And that's where it really shines. Plus half of the time you report the legit concerns, they don't do anything. Yeah. The interactivity is nice. TikTok definitely feels like the only social media app. Like Facebook and Instagram are just feeds. They're like RSS feeds that are it's just media now. But TikTok is like actual social media. Like that, it's completely different. For the life of me, I have no idea why YouTube doesn't work in group chat or something into that thing. Why they push people into Discord, I have no idea. But yeah, it is what it is. So it's just cool to like be able to go into a friend's live or something, and it's just like all the homies hanging out. No other website has that. I guess like Twitter Spaces did when it before it got bought out, but that's the only one I can think of actually. So anyway, I have to go to bed. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for talking meta with me for the last 20 minutes. It's fun to let you guys in, and I appreciate you for all the support. It really means so much to me. Thank you, Bill. I'm ferociously still applying for jobs, but I'm like coming to the realization though, like I'm just coming to the realization, and I was talking to my wife, but it's just like, I really feel like I was born to do this in a way that I've never felt like on anything else in my life. And like battling and being in this moment and like battling this anti-science sentiment is like in my bones. And I really do feel like home when I'm doing it. And I've never felt like that. I love lab science. I love doing experiments and experimental planning and doing all that kind of stuff. But I was like, showing my dad like this, and I was just like so proud, letting him know what was going on, like that I'm fighting, and it's not, yeah, I think I feel so happy to be here and having this opportunity, and I think I'm just going to keep pushing as hard as I can to try to make this thing happen. So I'm just going to keep going for as long as I can. And yeah, it's noble and important job, a different approach and way to support science. Yeah, Souls, exactly. I think so. We need more science guys in social media. Yeah, for real, Michael. I totally agree. Exactly. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you. Hope you have a good night. Thank you for everything. Thank you for all the support. Thank you, Efon, for... Thank you so much for that, Efon. Ghostbusters for all the gifts on YouTube. And then the top gifters of the night on TikTok. Thank you so much, Helen, DN, Bill, Heather, Nebgems, Souls. Thank you. Thank you. I will see you soon. Bye. I'm probably, so my goal tomorrow and my goal for now on, because I'm really trying to make this work, is to drop the kids off in the morning, jujitsu after that. Once I get home, take a shower, stream for like 3 hours, like 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon, pick up the kids, dinner, stream at night. So like 2 3-hour stream sessions a day. That's what I'm going for. Just trying to like get the different pockets, because I know that like going on at 10 o'clock at night isn't good for, Eastern Standard Time people. And also going on in the middle of the day kind of helps me get some of Europe too. So that's my goal. That's going to be my goal tomorrow and going forward for a little bit, is to kind of like try to get those pockets in. So we're going to keep going, guys. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep pushing hard. Please, if you have not, please check out my YouTube. There's the MAGA roast there is really funny. It's 10 minutes long. It's so good. Mrs. Dr. G, how's it going? Sleep deprivation. I dad nap, I dad nap for sure. So thank you. So that is my hi. How's it going? I hope your shift is going well. I was just getting off the offline. It's just getting off. Take naps. Yeah, naps are nice. I usually take like a pre-stream nap. Yeah, I know. Guys, we're going to a rave this next weekend. We're going to Into the Horizon together. It's going to be fun. That'll be cool. Yeah, Venmo and yeah, Michael, I have Venmo and PayPal. I actually have Stripe set up. So if you go to donate.drgregshow.com, that's on there. I also have I should have drgregshow.com should have my Venmo and PayPal there. So yeah, I'm on all the stuff. So thank you though. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. Alrighty. I'm gotta get out of here. So thank you again. I will I'll see you all later. Bye.